have a Google account.
They all should. A Google account.
Have a Google account. Keep your hand up. And if you also have to have if you have a Google account and you have a device with you. This is just a cheat sheet when we do our live demo, and it'll help you get through, sort of like a visual experience. Trying to cater to all the, the different learning styles, right along. Well, yeah, even if you just walk them, you can have this. This is still cool.
Brian.
Yes, 100%.
So if you've completed your survey, raise your hand. Good. Okay. I'll give it about another minute. Who needs another minute? Zebra?
I do.
And so while you're finishing up there, so yes, my name's Jason, and I am a former rhythm and moves teacher, and I'm going to show you an easy way to collect survey data and then use it to have an influence about your program, to support your program in an influential type of way. Just a little quick, this time of year, for most of my life, I've had summers off. So, that second week in August, it's like, oh man. You start getting emails and you're like, the back to school commercials. So it's typically been a very challenging time of year for me, but the Rhythm and Moves conference, really, like the excitement and the passion about teaching, it really, for me, it's always just recharged me and got me ready for that upcoming school year. And so I just wanted to thank you all for inviting me and Craig to take part in this experience, because I do certainly love what I do, and it's just nice to get back into it in an exciting way. So
Glad to have you. Well, I'm glad you're back.
Thank you. All right.
Michigan? Really? Who wants to live in Michigan?
I'll get to that. So that's just my opening slide there. And I'm gonna, I put a connected core thing up there. I will briefly sort of hit some points about that today. So what is a survey? Does everybody know what a survey is? Like just the general meaning of a survey. You're basically just taking, you have questions and people have answers. And we're going to actually create an actual survey today. So I'll give you some time to do that. So I don't really need to talk much about what it is, but so I'd like to talk about why it's important. Most people don't, I would just say, many people in your school community, they don't know what you do. Your kids might know what you do, but parents and administrators and teachers, they think that they know what you do, but they don't really know what you do, exactly what you do. They think you're a PE teacher, right? And that has many different meanings for people that don't teach PE. So a survey can be a very informative tool to show people in your school community what it is that you're actually doing. Surveys are important because they can collect information about satisfaction. You ever get those kids that are like, oh, I love PE, you're the best PE teacher in the whole world, or you're my favoriteest PE teacher, right? Like, I'm your only one, you've never had another one. Or the parents are like, you're the best, and they say, well, what's your actual satisfaction level with me in my program? Let's measure that. Let's figure that out, because that's what this can do. A survey can actually measure that satisfaction level. Specifically, let's just say you're doing a Common Core alignment effort. Maybe you're going to take one class and you're going to try and align your PE standards with that. Maybe you want to survey the students about it. How satisfied are you with this new piece that I put in here? Or you want to survey your administrator about it. The survey can collect that information for you. Values. Why is a survey? A survey is important because you can collect the value, people's values about PE. So, for For example, like this year, I wanted to understand what the parents felt was a quality PE program, what they thought should be in it. And you give the typical answers, right? Dodgeball. Oh, I think these kids should play dodgeball. But you get some real values in there. What parents value, they'll give you that. Or what an administrator values. Specifically, let's just say Common Core. How does your administrator, your principal feel about Common Core? And maybe you put them on that survey list. Maybe you send them an email about your Common Core beliefs, or about just Common Core in general, and aligning with it. So when you bring in the values of what people think about your program, you're strengthening your program, and you include their values in it. And I'll show you how to use those values. We'll talk about that later on. New material. So, I call our profession, we're sort of like performers, just like music teachers. Are we having music teachers in here? How many music teachers? Any? So, we're kind of like performers. You're going out there every day as a PE teacher, you're performing. You're not just standing behind the podium and teaching, right, with your eye, your mouth below the computer there. You're actually performing. And that's one of the things. Dave Parker, where are you? Dave Parker you go out and see him teach. Has everybody seen him teach? Right here, see Dave Parker teach. I mean, he's one of those guys, very animated, he's performing. But we're all looking for new material as performers. And this can help you get some new material. If you want to ask parents, or you want to ask teachers, or even ask kids for new material. These next few that I'm going to talk about, these ones really stick out for me, why a survey is important. Professionalism. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of people out there that marginalize PE and that marginalize music. It's just a special or enrichment. To me, it's just kind of marginalized in a way. And I think that this is a way for you to really demonstrate your professionalism. You start talking your talk. You're the professional in your field. You're the expert. This gives you a way to really talk about that dialogue with parents and administrators. Your survey could also count as evidence towards your CSTP sample 6. Are there any bits of people in here? So do you go over that kind of stuff, the CSTP stuff? So this is actually developing as a professional educator. You can actually create a survey, you're going to be able to use it for that as evidence. Standard. Promotion. When you create a survey, you are actually promoting your program. Whether you think it or not, most of the people out there that don't know about your program, so you can get that email saying, link to this survey, you're broadcasting and promoting what you are about. And that's pretty powerful. But you have to go do it. You have those parents that might think that you're the greatest teacher in the world, but are they really going around and selling your program for you? And what if your program's in jeopardy and the funding is low? Are they going to go out there and are they going to fight for you? A survey goes out there, you put that promotional stuff out there for you, it goes out there and sort of does some work for you. And I think that a survey, when it's most powerful, it's influential. And I'll talk about that today. And what I mean by that is, let's say you get all this survey data and about your program. What are you going to do with it? Do you just take it and say, oh, cool, everybody thinks that I'm cool, and they like the stuff that I'm teaching. But what are you going to do with it now? Can you present it somewhere? Can you present it at a PTO meeting or a board meeting?
I was going to say break it down. More things you want to know.
Right. So before you create the survey, or after you've done that?
After.
So breaking down what all that data means, and we're going to talk a little bit about that too. It's a good point. Which are you?
Coal.
Coal?
Yeah.
Coal turkey?
Yeah.
That's worn out, right? Those are, I think, some of the most powerful reasons why a survey is going to be important. Oh.
Big Blue.
Go Blue!
That's what's on there. So this is my success story. Everybody's got to share something. And if you're a presenter, it's better to share your success story at the beginning to sort of hook people in. But I shared mine here because this is the appropriate part. My family relocated to Michigan about 3 years ago now. And my love for teaching was always still there, but I became a stay-at-home dad immediately because that's what we agreed upon. And no regrets, I love my job, but I still wanted to teach. So I launched a small-scale preschool PE business. And so that's just like what Sharon will stop in our later today, so for 3 to 5-year-olds. And I convinced a local preschool to let me pilot my program for free for the first year. And I was thinking, like, I'm not going to be able to get sales by piloting my program and just giving it away for free, so I've got to do something. But a friend of mine called me and said, you should be using Google surveys. And I was like, how? And he's like, it's basically going to give you an opportunity to generate support for your program and have people put in values towards it. And I thought, man, that sounds pretty good. And then I started fooling around with it, and I was like, wow, this is really easy to do. And I just started seeing the power behind it. And so I went out and I created the survey, and I what I call it, I set it free. And the results just blew me away. Like typical surveys that you get back, my wife is in staffing, and she says typical surveys bring back less than 20% response rates. I got like over 50% response rate from this preschool. So like, of 40 families, I think I got like over 28 families that responded to my survey, which was huge, right? But more, also important about this was the parents were extremely satisfied with my program, which is, I'm confident in what I do, but it was nice sort of validation for me, right? But they also gave me specific information about what they thought was a quality PE program. So they gave me some really interesting things that they valued, like, my kids should be doing this, but not so much of this. And I thought, okay, this is good information. But the most amazing thing about that study, or about that survey, was that I took that information and I got the board to listen to me. And I said, I want you to take my program on, I want you to hire me. And they did. They actually signed my contract and they hired me for 2 days a week. So I'm teaching 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds, and they're paying me to do it. And largely because of this survey. I mean, I have to take some credit as a teacher and what I do, but I feel like the survey thing really was that sort of tipping point. I really got that board to look at this data and say, wow, this is what most of the parents at the school think, and we have these funds, let's roll with this guy. And they did it. And so, start thinking about right now, start thinking about how that might pertain to you, how that scenario might translate into what, or how you might be able to use survey data. Because I'm not suggesting that you quit and go start your own small-scale preschool PE program. In fact, never quit. If you don't have equipment that moves, just stay where you are and do your thing, because it's a good thing you got on here. But you might find yourself in a situation like this where you might need want support for your program, and the survey is going to help you with that. Some of the other things I like to talk about, you might want to learn more about your school community. What is it that your school community values? They're easy to draw up on Google Docs, and these are some of the guidelines. And Craig's going to send this slideshow to you, so you don't need to take notes if you don't want to, some of you. I just felt like these were some of the guidelines that I used when I was creating my survey. Obviously, anything that you do, you should have a goal, right? What do you want to get done with the survey? What do you want to collect? What Cole's talking about breaking it down. It's going to be a lot easier to break it down if you start, from the beginning, decide with that decision, what do you want to learn about people? What do you want to know? For me, it was program satisfaction and some curriculum changes. You might not have that kind of flexibility to do curriculum changes, but there's still some values out there that you might want to obtain from people. Who's your audience? For me, it was parents and teachers. For you, it might be an admin or principal. It might be students. It might be middle school students. You asking them what they want. Come up with a question set that's meaningful and simple. If you've ever taken a survey and it's been like too long a question, right? Or you don't understand it, you're like, I'm done. I closed the browser, I'm done. And then it's like, okay, but you want to make it simple and easy, but at the same time, very meaningful. What types of questions? What's the one that you want when you take a survey?
Multiple choice.
No brainer. Multiple choice, right? That's what our SATs were. That's what, it's like multiple choice. I got a good chance, especially the ones that are like, true false. And then it's like 50-50, right? You flip the coin, that's the one I want. But there's going to be times where you need other types of questions, Jeremy.
So, okay, I guess multiple choice is also like a scale of 1 to 10.
So scales, what were quality activities in a PE program. And instead of having them just list them, I put down the things that I value, because I'm the expert. You're the expert, right? You know what should be valuable for children. But if you're trying to bring in other people's values, you've got to give them some choices without doing it the paralysis by analysis thing, right? Because the open-ended response, you're going to get parents that are going to put it adoptable. Checklist is one of those things. So, and I'll walk you through some of that. And there's a thing at the end where you can do additional comments. And the people that are really motivated, they're really pumped up about helping you with your survey and putting information in there, they're going to put stuff in the additional comments stuff at the end. But most of the people that just want the multiple choice, you're going to get them too, because that's what most of your stuff is, multiple choice. Alright, so this is just a little sample. I didn't take the whole survey, it was about 10 questions, but this is the sample that I used for this school that I was working at. And I got my goals. You can really see in that opening statement. It really has my goals in there, and who the audience is, and what I was looking for, and then multiple choice right out of the gate. Right. This is actually more like a checklist. Right. Check the activities, and I did have an additional comments at the end, but it was like less than 10 questions, and it took like 7 minutes. And that's what you want. You want something sweet, simple, and quick. Right. Because that's what's going to get people to take your survey and actually complete it. That survey that you walked in today, was it easy? Did it bring you in where you're like, okay, it's simple, it's meaningful? That's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I think you should be trying to do as well. So, and this is the actual survey that actually sold my program. So let's get started here. If you have it, go ahead.
I was in the survey that you gave us, when it was kind of a weird thing to me, but when you asked about the school, I'm at multiple schools, and relationship at one school might be like, wait, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And over here, it's not quite as awesome.
Good point.
And so that was the part of the survey that was a little bit.
Yeah, like some of my schools I dread, and some of my schools I love. I'll say it for you. Look, that's yeah. So, but you get the gist there, right? I mean, go ahead, Josh.
No.
All right. So if you are, like I said, if you have an iPhone, you're probably not going to be able to create on your iPhone. I've tried it already. It's a little tricky, and I doubt you're able to do it. So you can try it if you want. The cheat sheet that I gave you is going to help. I'm going to actually walk through, and I'm going to show you this up on my screen, so you can also just follow me if you want. If you feel like you want to create your own, content, I have no problem with that. I'm just making it really easy for you to do this, okay? So the first thing that we do is we go to Google Docs, or Google Drive, whatever, we log in. And everybody signed in so far? So what I'm going to do is I've obviously already logged in. This create is where it starts out. If you look on your cheat sheets, I believe that's step 3, create form. If you're on a PC, it might be file, new, or something like that. But I'm going to go to create, and then there's form. I've got another copy of that. Yeah. So just type in conference happiness and just select the default theme. Or like I said, if you want to put in something different, put in something different.
All right, I can use one.
Well, what's your name?
Sabra.
Sabra?
Mm-hmm.
With a Z?
No, with an S.
S-E.
S-A-B-R-A.
So like I said, conference happiness and whatever. You can select a nice pretty theme, or kind of boring sometimes. So like I said, you can start, if you want to, if this looks simple for you to operate, you can keep moving forward. I'm gonna try and walk you through this in a way that is, what I think is real simple. But if you don't wait for me. If you want to crush it, crush it. Question title. This first question title. Actually, let's go above that to form description, right? Go ahead.
So, when we talk about it at multiple schools, could that be like one of the survey questions, like please specify what school that your
Absolutely.
kid goes to?
Absolutely.
So then you can kind of categorize it.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that first question might be, check the school. You got three schools checked off there. How many schools do you teach at? 3? Right?
And then you could probably make a survey for each school as
You
well.
can do that too. Yeah. Whatever is easiest. That, my thing is look, that's why I asked you that question earlier on when you sat down here, right? It's like, do you want to spend a little bit of extra time outside of teaching? Because that's really what this is, a little bit of extra time, right? It's a little bit of extra time. You don't want to create a lot of extra work outside of school because you got a life, you got a family, you got things you got to do, you're training for something, right? So, keep it simple, right? That's what I'm saying, check, make sure you have 3 schools. Okay, so that form description, I'm just going to say for my form description, please complete this survey about conference happiness. The results might change your life. Change mine. So, and then question title. You just click in these boxes, right? It's like sometimes you have to highlight that information. So if you go to that next box here, question title. First question, did you attend the conference? You can't have conference happiness unless you don't attend the conference. Ross? Sure, absolutely. Where are you at? What's that? The first step? So sign into Google Docs? Google Drive?
Ross, are you in the mobile site or the desktop site? Yeah, go to the desktop site.
You gotta go to so you gotta download the app?
No. If you're on an iPad, it's all the way at the bottom. There's mobile or desktop. Go to desktop.
Where's that?
All the way at the bottom.
Of the browser?
Yeah.
Show me that?
Yeah. Open the browser and go to the bottom.
Go to the mobile site?
Yeah. No, the desktop site.
Desktop site. Continue to desktop version. Form. Alright, so you're here now. Answer title. Actually, it's going to title and then like conference happiness. Alright, so who's having fun already? Raise your hand if you're having fun with what you're doing. Okay. My wife is this. She works in staffing. Sometimes she pays attention to what I do. But she's known me for so long. She's like, yeah, he's a PE teacher. But then I showed her this. Because it's not, again, people don't know what you do, right? You go out there, they think you're a PE teacher, right? So when I showed this to the families in my school, they're like, did you create that survey? Did that come from you? Or did you hire somebody? I said, I did that myself. But then I showed my wife, and she's sitting around, plugging away, and she's like, man, this is great. I'm gonna have my whole staff do this tomorrow. So it's catching on for her, I think. So this first one is a multiple choice, right? Is that what I said? So step number 7, multiple choice, and then option number 1. I said yes, right? And you just click in the box for option number 2 and say no. There's no other ways around that question, right? What do you mean, Nick? What do you mean you guess? You were either here or you weren't. I mean, you could have been drunk, I guess.
Not sure.
No. All right, so I'm going to add an item now. So we're looking on to number 9. I got 24 minutes left here. So look at that. So it creates that first question up there, right? And you can just, again, you slide your cursor around and you can automatically edit these things. Back in the day when you created surveys, it was like, you had make an Excel document, and then you had to link it to some HTML garbage to some page. You were lucky, and it wasn't anonymous. I was like, oh, I saw 10 grades you just filled out. I'm gonna fill out something he just did. All right, and then make sure you do this required question thing, this little checkbox. I think we forgot to do that up here. Required question. See that? Because then people can they can get away and not do it. But you want them to do it. So the second one, I think we're at step number.
I like the credit card information, if you don't fill it out.
Yeah. Enter question title. So for question title number 2, we are at step number 10, by the way. Check your favorite presenters. And I think 2 of them are here. In the front row, front and center. The students that sit front and center, that typically get A's in the class. Round nosers. Check your favorite presenters, and then,
What if I have 2?
11, that's why it's called check.
So what is California?
What's that?
What is California?
Oh, I don't mess around with that. It's how, so people, if they don't understand the question, it sort of helps them get along with that question. Further. All right, if you raise your hand if you want me to slow down a little bit. So I'm just going to put in Jeremy. We'll put in Bob. And I'm going to put in Sharon. Is Tony in here? Alright, and make sure you push check boxes. Question type, check boxes, okay? You don't want this to be a multiple choice. Because I'm trying to show you the different types of questions. You might have, what's your favorite unit? You could have check your favorite units, right? It could be volleyball, it could be basketball, it could be lacrosse, whatever. Again, required question. Add item. So where are we at? Answer question title. Rate your overall happiness. Rate your overall happiness. Okay? And so what do you think this one's going to be? What's that question? And let's just keep it simple. Go 1 to 5. And number 1 is depressing. Number 5 is stoked, right? And again, required question. Any questions? Raise your hand, probably slow down. Okay, 21 minutes left.
Is this going to force you to only write reply with 1 of the 5?
Yeah, when you scale something, you have to pick something. Yeah, you can't pick 2.5.
No, whatever you can't.
You can't pick 2 and 3.
If you're gonna,
It's going to fill in the other words, I think, is what she's asking.
No. But you can add them, I think.
it automatically puts in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
Meaning the more stoked you are, closer to 5, the more depressed
Yes.
you are.
Yeah. So yeah, it won't fill in 2, 3, 4, which is fine. I think I stated it pretty clearly there that you're either depressed or stoked. So that spectrum is, it was fun, not stoked, right? We had to have to put fun in there because we all they're different words. You could the scale can be 1 to 10, whatever you want it to be. But let's just to keep for time's sake. You don't have to yet.
If you hit done, you end up you're done.
No.
Yeah, that's done.
No.
Yeah.
Basically, like a back.
Probably means you don't
No, send form is what you're done.
Yeah.
Watch.
Oh, so done. Go back.
So if you want to go back to anything, you just click on it.
But then I couldn't add the next or third question if I had done. No, I like it.
Okay, once you hit done. I hit done. I just hit done. I'm back on. So you just have to click on that box.
As long as you show me send form.
Right. Send form will bring you, but you can again just go right back in. So I'm not going to add another item because we're at 17 now. You click done, and then this confirmation page at the bottom. And this is kind of important. Show link to submit another response. I don't do that. I only want people filling it out 1 time. Could they go again to that browser? Probably. And screw up the results of your survey? Probably. But do you think that people really, they have other things to do. I don't think they're going to want to fill your survey out 5 times. So I just uncheck that, but I do check wanted to, you could show view live form up here. See this up here? It'll show you the live form, and then you can just go back to it if you want. But I'm going to go to send form now. Does that feel? What?
Is there a place there that you can have them write in their comments?
I can put additional comments. I can add here, or I can add other. Check your favorite presenters. Maybe I forgot. You know, maybe there's somebody I didn't mention. I can put an other here. I can add other. You know, so if I click on this, I think this is add other. See that? So I'm feeling pretty good about this. Conference happening. Please go to did you attend the conference? Check your presenters. Visual happiness. Feeling pretty good. Got to publish. I'm ready to send form. I don't want people to add responses after submitting.
How many tacos did you eat?
Today?
Yeah.
I had one enchilada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I said put that on there.
Right. That would be a good sign. Like, yeah. Whether either you're soaked or not. There we go. So I'm going to send the form. Okay, now, this page is important. Is everybody raising? I'm going to slow down. Okay. So, the link to share. You can copy it, but you don't need to. Because it'll actually include the link. But what I do is click in this box here, right? This will give you where you send emails. So I'm going to add an email. I'm going to add my email. Feel free to email me anytime about this survey and presentation. I will happily bring that to you. Within a week or two. I got 3 kids. All right, include form and email. I don't like to include the form in the email because I figured that detail out yet. When the email gets sent, it'll send you the link and it'll send you the form in the email. And I feel like the data from the form that's in the email is not getting pushed into the Excel file. So I just uncheck that one. Customize the message. It says conference happiness. I just leave it at that. But you can customize the message that people see in the email as well. In addition to what they see on the survey page, you can customize the message in the email. And then I'm going to send. Does anybody have any problems if I send this right now? I keep seeing that thing up because somebody's hand is up there. Alright, so your survey should be ready. And it's not going to be bit.ly/your survey. That's a program that I use to make your URL smaller. Because what ends up happening is they send you this link, right? It's like 8,000 characters long. You can't expect anybody to have to type that into a browser. Like I didn't want anybody having to type the link to this. So I downloaded this program, bit.ly, whatever. Dave's shaking his head, you know about this. I know. So it helps you make the URL smaller. All right. So now that we've got this survey published, do you want to put some data in it? The best thing to do is go to your email and look for an email from yourself. What is it, Gmail? And I should see my survey up there. From me. Click on it. Please complete the survey about conference happiness. The results might change your life. I'm going to click on it. And it says edit this form because I'm the creator. It's not going to say edit this form to your end user, hopefully. But I'm just going to check, did you attend the conference? Yes. Your favorite presenters? Bam, bam, bam. And I don't know if so I'm going to submit it. Feel free to keep doing it. Go to your email, do it again. Populate it a couple times if you want. But this link right here is what I think is really cool for people that are filling the survey out. They can actually see the data right now, what's live. That to me is really cool. Like if you're a family and you see this stuff, you're like, wow. So, people are happy with the program. What's up, Sharon?
How'd you get there?
Yeah. So I went to my email.
Yeah.
I filled out the survey. Did you do that?
Oh, fill the survey.
Complete the survey.
Yeah. And then when you click submit,
You'll see this. See previous responses.
Okay.
So this part here, this starts to get into the influential power of your Did you populate your survey a couple times? I'm just going to do mine one more time, just for the sake of it.
Yeah, we need to go to see who's responsible for your sponsorship and your chart and your sheet.
I'll say yes. I'll say no.
Yeah.
I'll say I was impressed. Let's see how it started showing now. Didn't say no. Didn't show me the no. Oh, they got to refresh it, don't I? Man, that's already refreshing. Look at that. It's like live. Okay, so let's go back to this PowerPoint. We've got about 13 minutes left. All right. F5. There's two things that you can look at like anytime you're playing around in your survey. There's summary of responses, and then you can actually view the actual responses. The summary of responses looks like just like the one I just showed you, right? Where it's this. This is the summary of your responses. And if you actually go to your Google Drive, and you click on conference happiness, so you click on your survey, responses, summary of responses, gives you the same thing, right? Or you can look at the view responses, and that shows you an actual detailed timestamp look of all your responses, like Excel format. But it's not, it doesn't show an IP address, so there's pretty much, this is anonymous for the most part. You know, unless somebody says, you know, in the others comment, they put in their name. Like, thanks a lot, Jason, for doing this, you know, signed Ellen. It's like, oh, why did Ellen put in that response? So that's really the only way that people could actually screw up the anonymity. That's the two ways to look at the results. The summary of the results can be very powerful. I actually took the actual results as well, downloaded them to an Excel file, and I started playing around with that data, and I started highlighting things that I thought were really good points to make, and then I brought them into my meeting. Reporting. You know, what do you do with all of it now? Your audience deserves to know. So you summarize it, like I said, Google practically does it for you, and talk about what it means. The families at my preschool, they wanted more PE. That was one of the things that they said. I don't know if I can show you that right now, but they actually said they wanted more PE. This is my R&M survey. It's not what I wanted. Extra PE survey. I must have downloaded that file, so it's currently not there anymore. But
We just didn't want to do that.
what's that?
What about the one we just didn't want?
Yeah, so this is the one that the one you took earlier. Yeah, I was going to show you that one. So this is the R&M survey, right? So I created that survey. So what does the conference team mean? Let's see what the answers were to that one. Not sure what just happened. Okay, so from here, right?
They're all.
Fine. Okay, let's go summary. So we had 18. take a survey because people are connected with you as a teacher. They love you. Definitely, they'll fill out your survey, right? I think that does matter. Is it a necessity? No, I still think that you can get it accomplished without it. I wanted you to be aware with this question that this would probably be one of the reasons why you might want to conduct a survey, to start creating support for yourself if your school was lacking funds. And if you have to be open, period. Because once you put the survey out there, people are going to give it to you real, especially if they know it's anonymous, right? So if they say to you, like, you know, let's just use a general question, like, rate my quality of teaching, right? On a scale of 1 to 10. You better be ready for a 1. Right? Somebody might not like you. I mean, you have to be open and ready for that. It might not happen, it probably won't happen, but you're taking a chance, so you have to be open to learning about how families feel about you and your program. You know, recently I felt like this was so powerful because I took that data and then I went and presented it to the board in a really, you know, just simple way. But I said, parents want more. This is what they want, and the board bought it. To me, that's the most powerful part of this whole process for me. These are some tips that I feel like, you know, and we've already talked about a couple of these, but that will help you sort of avoid the pitfalls. You know, connected to your community. If you're, like I said, you're actively reaching out, building relationships, you're visible in your community. Raise your hand if you've been to a school game, a basketball game, right? You know, that's just huge. If you go to a basketball game or a volleyball game, and they see you, right? They're like, Mr. Parker, see your dad was running over Mr. Parker, right? So that's huge. That's going to make this whole process a little bit easier. If you're already using technology like blogs and social media, you know, you got to be careful with that stuff, right? But at the same time, if you're using technology somehow to connect your classroom with the community, that's going to make it a lot easier. You got to be open to exposure, avoiding the bad questions. Like I said this earlier, we don't need to know how smart you are as an audience. Okay? Like, so using all the teacher jargon, you know, there's a right place for that. You know, if your audience is, you know, the nerdy professor types. Okay? Like Hank Gracie. He's not a nerdy professor. But just too much jargon and too many darn choices, right? It's like, what? Oh, well, it's time for this. I want to take 5 minutes, right, to do this. It's too long. Too long. I'm not going to do it. So those are some things that help you sort of get through the pitfalls of this whole thing. If I was sitting in this today, I would really want you to take away the promotional value of the survey. How do you promote your program? And the fact that you are a pro. You know, one of the things that sticks out with me with Bob Sangrazi is like, he does not for a second take the notion that being a PE teacher is any less important than being a doctor.
You agree?
I mean, that's one of the things that I took away from his thing today is like, you wouldn't want a doctor sleeping on the job is what he said. So why would you? Phew. Being a pro about it.
That was worth it, Shreya. It's good now.
Be a pro. You're the expert. Be a pro. Be a professional. What's this mean? Meaningful questions too. Use your data. Don't just tell people you're going to do something with it and do it. So follow up. Hold yourself accountable for it. Take the data and then represent it to them in a way so they can say, wow, this guy really followed up, said it was a good call.
I was just going to say, big thing for me last year was being open to criticism. Not just for this, but as a first-year teacher, it's not always going to be perfect, and you're going to have students that, you clash with, and you might, have problems with, and I think from this, you can get really discouraged by, dude, you gave me a 1, I don't want to read that again. Be open to it. You're trying, it's just like for sports again, always looking to get better. So if someone's going to tell me I'm a
that, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm somebody's perfectionist. So if I see that one response from that guy, you know, I'm like, no.
I thought you were great.
Thanks. I'm already being uplifted for being uplifted.
It's really easy, and I do feel like it's really powerful if you use it in a way, use it the right way. So I would hope that these are some of the things that you take away from this. There are some other resources on advocating your program, you know, because this kind of fits into the advocacy category. Like when you open up a journal, like strategies or anything like that, you might see advocacy in there. And this might, you know, collecting surveys about your program might be an advocacy approach because you really are your own advocate. But these are just some other ways. This one in particular is really cool, but it costs money per response. But this one's pretty powerful. But there's no need for it because honestly, this Google's form thing to me is just right on the money with how easy it is to do and how easy it is to send out. So I would just stick to that. I'd like to throw some other stuff in. Spark has something too. I know that I shouldn't say that out loud.
Why not?
They've got some stuff on advocacy too. They've also got a lot of good stuff on Common Core too. On like they're taking Common Core and blending PE with it. Like why reinvent the wheel? You can just go there and download it. All right, my email's there, so feel free to email me. Craig will send you my slides. There you go.